Welcome into the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in. I appreciate all of you for making today's show a part of your day. And on the docket, we're looking ahead to Monday Night Football. We're previewing this game between the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. Ladies and gentlemen, how sweet is this? The regular season is almost here. You take a look at this matchup here. Game taking place Monday, September 9th. Kickoff slated for 8:15 p.m. Eastern. 5:15 out at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. The Niners, 4-point favorites going into this game. That line has gone up about a half point since San Francisco signed Brandon Aiyuk to that contract extension, and the over-under actually pretty low, 42.5 between these two teams who were known for playing smash-mouth defensive football. A programming reminder, make sure you join us for some Monday Night Football action right here on the Niners Report. Our watch party will begin at 7:15 p.m. Eastern, 4:15 p.m. Pacific. Our pregame show will lay the foundation going into kickoff, then during the game, live play-by-play, audience interaction, instant reaction, a postgame show. We have a lot of Super Chat giveaways in store. It's the best place to experience a Niner game day outside of being at the actual game because you get to hang out with faithful members from every pocket of America and worldwide. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell icon. Therefore, when we do go live, you will be notified. Of course, the big developments for the Niners going into this Week 1 game against the New York Jets. This time last week, we weren't sure if San Francisco was going to have All-Pro wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk or All-Pro offensive tackle Trent Williams. Brandon Aiyuk signed that contract extension. Trent Williams signed a rework deal. Now the question becomes, will BA and will Trent Williams be on the field? And if they are and available to play, how much will they play and what will they look like? Some good steps forward in this process for the Niners here in the lead up to game week as they have their preparations underway for New York. We're recording this show on Tuesday, September 3rd. Aiyuk returning to practice on Tuesday for the first time since signing his contract extension. He was in uniform. Trent Williams was also at practice on Tuesday as well as him and the team finalized that rework contract, and we have the details for that deal. Trent Williams wasn't suited up with a helmet and shoulder pads like Aiyuk was, but there is a chance he will be able to play Week 1 and protect the blind side for Brock Purdy against a very good New York Jets defense, which we'll talk about during our preview here. Mike Garafolo, NFL Network, with the Trent Williams contract details. It includes $48 million in guaranteed money at signing. He gets a $25.69 million signing bonus, and this moves him to $103 million in guarantees since joining the Niners in 2021, and he's now on track to earn over $350 million in his career. So some contractual details there for Trent Williams. And on the injury front, more reinforcements for San Francisco's offense. Christian McCaffrey also coming back to practice after missing the last few weeks with a calf strain. And the New York Jets last year, they were like bottom third in stopping the run. This could be a run-heavy game for the Niners as well. The full status report as far as which players will play, which players are injured, and the severity of that will come out on Thursday. So we'll see what that information is a little bit later this week. Key additions this offseason for San Francisco and the Jets. Both teams making some sizable moves this offseason. The Niners letting go of Eric Armstead and then trading for Malik Collins, who I think could be an X factor at defensive tackle for San Francisco this year. The Niners signing Leonard Floyd, who's been a very good pass rusher, 9+ sacks in the last 4 years. Yetur Gross-Matos, we'll see if he's able to play. He suffered that knee sprain in the preseason finale against the Las Vegas Raiders, but if you're not familiar with his game, I think this year the Niners will use him in that Arden Key, Charles Omenihu role where he can play inside-outside. Devondre Campbell, I was impressed with what he did in the preseason. He's going to step in for Dre Greenlaw and be one of the team's off-ball linebackers. And then Jordan Elliott, a backup rotational defensive tackle who last year was pretty good against the run. For the Jets, They traded a third-round pick, which can become a second, for Hassan Reddick. He is the only player in the National Football League to still be holding out. That puts his Week 1 status in major jeopardy. Mike Williams, the wide receiver, was let go by the Chargers. The Jets scooping him up on a pretty veteran-friendly deal for New York if he can end up having good production. The Niners let go of Javon Kinlaw. They didn't exercise his fifth-year option, so Javon Kinlaw signed with the Jets. He reunites with Robert Salah. He's going to be a starting defensive tackle for New York up front. The Jets needed to get better along the offensive line. They were awful as an offensive line unit last year. Well, they made a couple of big moves, and that included Tyron Smith, the multi-time Pro Bowl and All-Pro tackle, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys, and Morgan Moses. Those are the two starting tackles for New York going into Week 1. And they will look to provide protection for Aaron Rodgers. And we're going to get our first extended look at Aaron Rodgers. NorCal native, went to Cal. Niners passed up on him in the NFL draft out of Cal. They elected to go with Alex Smith. Aaron Rodgers also played JUCO ball at Butte Community College. And last year, after leaving the Packers, going to the Jets, he tore his Achilles 4 plays into the game. And from there, the Jet season just went down the tubes. In the regular season, Aaron Rodgers has had a lot of success against the Niners. He is 6-3 against San Francisco. When it counts in the NFL playoffs, though, Aaron Rodgers 0-4. And that's 0-4 against the Niners in the NFL playoffs as the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. So there's a little bit of a mental hurdle there for Aaron Rodgers, especially in those pressure-packed situations and pressure-packed games against the Niners. According to reports, this report was making the rounds on social media last week. What do you take from it? Not really sure. The report indicated that the Jets are in disarray. Part of the reason? Aaron Rodgers' lack of leadership, and inside the building, according to that report, it's a mess. I actually think the Jets are a very talented team, and I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a unique dude who speaks his mind, and he's a damn good football player, and I think that if he can stay healthy, he's the best quarterback that the Jets have had in a really, really long time. They've built up that offensive line. They have a good run game with Breece Hall. They have really good skill players, and they have a really good defense, led by Robert Salah, the Niners defensive coordinator from 2017 to 2020. That's another key storyline, is that Salah returns with his seat very hot. If the Jets perform well, his job's safe. If they choke and they flounder and they flail and fail, then Robert Salah could get canned. His coaching record, 3 seasons at the helm for New York. Year 1, 4-13. Year 2, a little bit better, 7-10. Bad quarterback play in each of those years. So they make the splash acquisition for Aaron Rodgers, and he gets hurt a couple plays into the opener. And they still go 7-10 with the terrible offensive line, atrocious quarterback play. That's why I think that the Jets, if they can stay healthy and Rodgers can still bring it, they'll win a lot of games this year, and it's a very formidable week 1 test for the Niners here. Let's take a look at what the Jets offer on the defensive side of the ball, led by Robert Salah. Their front, even without Hassan Reddick, is still really good. Jermaine Johnson, he's gotten better and better since coming into the league. Quinnen Williams is one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. If Javon Kinlaw can stay healthy, we saw last year what he's capable of doing. And then Michael Clemens, a solid backup edge rusher who, without Hassan Reddick, will be this team's starter. At the linebacking core, New York is very sound there, led by Quincy Williams and C.J. Mosley. Outside of Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw when he's healthy, it's one of the best linebacking duos in the National Football League. And then the Jets secondary, very good against the pass. Sauce Gardner, one of the top corners in the game. Chuck Clark, Tony Adams at the safety spot. DJ Reed makes big plays at the other corner position. And then Michael Carter is their slot, and he's a really good slot corner in the NFL. And I bring all of that up because you think about the Niners offense last year. Averaged nearly 30 points per game. Number 1 overall offense in the National Football League. But, as we talked about in the lead up to training camp, San Francisco did struggle against quality defenses last year. So I'm excited to see how San Francisco is able to match up against the stout Jets defense. You think back to the Niners' struggles against upper echelon defenses and or defensive coordinators. Niners struggled against the Browns, led by Jim Schwartz, who continues to have Kyle Shanahan's number. They were bad against a Brian Flores-led Minnesota Vikings team. They were not good against the Cincinnati Bengals. Mike McDonald-led Ravens, number 1 overall defense in the NFL last year. Now the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Brock Purdy was a turnover machine that night. And then in the big game, Steve Spagnuolo and the Kansas City Chiefs, they posed a lot of problems for the Niners offense as well. So a big test for the San Francisco offensive unit to kick off the regular season. With that, we're only getting started in our preview here. Who you got? NYJ for the Jets, SF for the San Francisco 49ers. Let me know down in the comment section who you have with your game predictions, and my predictions coming up here in just a moment. Be sure to download the Game Time app, because if you want to go to Niners-Jets, Levi Stadium, Monday Night Football, opening game of the 2024 season, Game Time has you covered. They will give you the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. So download the Game Time app, and if you use the code CHATSPORTS, you get $20 off your purchase. You can see your view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. You can access your tickets right from your phone, and you can easily resell your tickets if you want to do that, as evidenced by the screen grab with the text message there. If you can't go to Jets-Niners, that's fine. Plenty of tickets available for Niners home games and road games. But it's not just for sporting events, ladies and gentlemen. Concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and more. That feature that I like, seeing the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Then you have the aerial view right here, so you can look down at Levi Stadium, and you can see exactly where you can sit and where the available tickets are. San Francisco Giants games also available with tickets, even though they seem to be out of the NL playoff hunt. So download the Game Time app, lowest price guarantee. Their Game Time picks, an incredible feature. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and more. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS. Terms apply, first purchase only. Key storylines in this game between San Francisco and New York. Two cities that you can't write the history of America without. Let's go. Will Brandon Aiyuk and Trent Williams play? Biggest question mark for San Francisco, especially on the offensive side. I think Aiyuk will play. Is it going to be a full snap count? Again, I mentioned the Jets' struggles against the run last year. If San Francisco wants to run it heavy with Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason and others, they can do that. And in a way, they can manage the workload for Brandon Aiyuk, who only signed last Thursday. Trent Williams is 36 years old, a freak athlete at left tackle. He's probably going to ramp up and try to do everything that he can with 6 days to go until kickoff. And I hope that both those players can play so that we can see the full semblance of what this Niners offense is capable of. How does the offense look? They struggled against good defenses last year. They were bad in turn, and you're kind of patching things up along the way, adding Aiyuk late. No training camp practices or preseason action for him. Same can be said for Trent Williams. So a lot of moving parts here, and Christian McCaffrey's coming off an injury. I think this is a big storyline that not enough people are talking about. The Niners in the preseason, I get it, it was the preseason. One of the worst defenses in the NFL during preseason play. And now you have a future Hall of Fame quarterback, multi-time MVP award winner, Super Bowl champion, and Aaron Rodgers going up against a new defensive coordinator, Nick Sorensen, who's never called plays in a game that matters. That could be a little bit dicey for San Francisco. The Niners have the talent. The players love Nick Sorensen. How does he call the game? And in crucial situations, how does it go? Also, is there mental fatigue for San Francisco? 4 NFC titles and 2 Super Bowl trips in the last 5 years. They've played a lot of football, shorter off seasons, not as much rest. Can they get over that mental hurdle of coming so close to winning that Super Bowl? but losing it. Matchups to watch. I'll tell you this. This is a star-studded matchup. There are a lot of premier players on both sidelines here. I'm looking at Leonard Floyd and Nick Bosa against Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses. You have two very good edge rushers against two new acquisitions for New York at the offensive tackle spots. Brandon Aiyuk, hoping that he plays and sees a large workload. He's going to be matched up with Sauce Gardner. Brandon Aiyuk, you got a new deal, $76 million in guaranteed money. You're making $30 million per year. Now you're going to go up against one of the top corners in the National Football League. If you struggle, it's going to be a talking point for the fans. He wasn't worth it. Show everybody that you're worth that bag. Show off that footwork, that route running, and you being an explosive player. And put Sauce Gardner in the rear view with some explosive plays. George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey against the two terrific linebackers for the Jets in Mosley and Williams. I talked about those two players a little bit earlier. One of the top linebacking duos in the NFL. And I'm talking about George Kittle as a pass catcher, Christian McCaffrey as a pass catcher. I think Kyle Shanahan might try to scheme up plays to get them both involved in the pass game. And they're going up against two preeminent linebackers in this league. The Niners' run defense was not good last year. They fell off a cliff after the season prior with D'Amico Ryans being one of the top rushing defenses in the NFL. I think the Jets are going to look to get that ground game going. They have a great running back in Breece Hall. And that Niners run defense has some question marks carrying over from last year with the new coordinator here. And then lastly, the Jets' defensive line against the Niners' offensive line. If Trent Williams does play, is he at risk for injury? Could he get beat because he isn't game ready? At left guard, you have Aaron Banks coming off the pinky surgery. Jake Brendel, big test for him going up against Quinnen Williams, who clearly has the size, physicality, and talent edge over Jake Brendel. Dominic Pooney, welcome to the National Football League. You're going up against a very good Jets defensive line. And then Colton McKivitz is Colton McKivitz. Predict the score. Niners, Jets, Monday Night Football. Let me know down in the comment section. Prior to San Francisco signing Brandon Aiyuk to that contract extension and reworking the deal for Trent Williams, I was thinking about taking the Jets, especially at that +4 number, because I could have seen it being a 3-point game. I think the Niners win by 4. Aiyuk and Trent Williams do play. That helps out San Francisco's offense, and it helps lift the Niners to an opening week victory.